What's up, everybody? A Ward here, and I'm here to let you know that the A Ward Show is now officially brought to you by the Ripple to Wave Foundation, where they're manifesting waves of impact, one ripple at a time. Ripple to Wave empowers volunteers to create real change, from mentoring youth and protecting the environment to supporting those people in need. That includes seniors, veterans, and even animals. Yes, even animals. Every project is a chance to make your ripple in the community, and together, those ripples form waves of impact. The team at Ripple to Wave stays active with projects and events just about every weekend, and they're growing fast. Their Albuquerque, New Mexico team just launched their first project, and they're only getting started since their official launch on June 2nd of 2025. Get involved, volunteer, and learn more at rippletowavefoundation.org. That's Ripple, the number 2, wavefoundation.org. Follow them on all their socials at Ripple, the number 2, Wave Foundation on Instagram and Facebook, and subscribe to them on YouTube. Together, let's make some waves. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the A Ward Show. I am your host and curator and engineer and video. I am all the things. I am A Ward, and I thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the A Ward Show. First and foremost, let's address a couple of things that we have to address at the beginning of most of these videos, all of these videos, and that is shout out to the producer for the intro, my man A Dot. Make sure you guys go follow him. Hit his socials in the description. Shout out to everybody that's involved. Shout out to Ripple to Wave Foundation. Make sure you guys go tune in and tap in with them. Links are in the description. And for me, make sure you guys hit that link tree. Make sure you guys hit that link tree. Follow me on all my socials, TikTok, Instagram, and wherever you get your socials at. If there's some socials I'm not privy to or not in these social streets, let me know. I'm pulling up. For those who cannot watch this video and you're in the whip a lot and you just want to hear the sultry sounds of A Ward, then get to your favorite audio podcast sharing platform, and I'm there as well. iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and most major podcast networks. Again, if I'm not there, let me know, and I'm pulling up. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, comment, share, tell your friend to tell a friend to tell their grandmama and them about the A Ward Show, and pull up. Now, hope you guys had a great holiday. Hope you guys had a great Christmas, whatever you celebrate. Hope it was spent well with family, loved ones, or just doing nothing, depending on your vibes. I hope it was good for you. I hope everybody's doing well. Everybody's happy, getting through these holidays as much as possible. As we enter this new year, there's going to be some things on the next episode that I will be doing. So we'll be doing some awards, stuff like that, for music, sports, all that good stuff. Something fun to end this year and start off next year great. But you're not here for that, and neither am I. We are here to talk about the latest news in sports and other things. So let's get started with my favorite segment of the A Ward Show, where I talk about sports and I probably don't know what the hell I'm talking about. This is Yo No Say Nada.
Yo no sé nada.
All right. We are going to get into some news. I'm not really going to break down a lot of the games for the NFL. And I'm kind of waiting on college because I want to see how this next round plays out as far as some of the matchups. But we'll talk about some headlines, man. And one of the headlines that we talked about last week was obviously DK Metcalf gets into an altercation with a fan. As I said on the last show, it was reported what he said. I did not say he said that. So all the people that were on TikTok and on the socials, man, you don't know, he didn't even say that. At the time of the recording, it was reported that he said certain things. Now, DK Metcalf has since been suspended. He appealed it. That decision was upheld, so he is still suspended. And there were some disciplinary things that could have happened with the Steelers where they could have avoided his $45 million that he was going to be owed, which they did not. And I think there's a large reason behind that. And Jay Glazer of Fox Sports, NFL insider for Fox Sports, reported. And look, shout out to Jay Glazer because this, it was a story that was a story, big story, and then it kind of went away. And then the fan went out and had a press conference talking about how he didn't say certain things. He had his lawyers there. I would, ask you guys to go look up that video. I'm not going to put it up here. But he did talk about, the fan said, in his 15 years, I think it was, as a season ticket holder for the Lions, he has never said anything derogatory. In fact, that there's two things that upset him the most, and that is, I think it was animal cruelty and racism. And he said his blood gets boiled. He turns flush when these things happen or when he witnesses these things. And, if that is the truth, that's the truth. But what was reported from Jay Glazer on Fox Sports, NFL Insider, was that now it had been heard that this fan and DK Metcalf had got into it before when DK was on the Seattle Seahawks last year. So there was a little bit of a history behind that. And Jay Glazer said, yeah, we looked into it and it was investigated. So here is the quote from Jay Glazer. Quote, I actually have the security communication between the Detroit Lions and Seattle Seahawks security from a game last year when DK Metcalf, when he was with the Seahawks, complained about that exact same fan to security. Still going. And at the time there, he asked for that fan to be removed over a very derogatory comment. Glazer said, quote again, I'm not going to repeat what the comments are. That are on here. But obviously we don't condone ever hitting a fan or anybody else. But in this, it says, another quote, when we investigated during the game, the individuals around him stated and corroborated that the fan was being out of line and had indeed said these derogatory statements. They even asked us to remove the guy. Then it goes on, quote, the odd part of this also is that the Pittsburgh Steelers had no knowledge of this. So I'm just scrolling here to see if there's something that I missed. And I did see this when Jay Glazer reported it on Fox Sports. So essentially, let's break this down. We don't know if he said anything this encounter that they had this year. But last year, again, being reported from the security investigation that was done last year, when DK had the altercation with this same fan last season, that they investigated during the game, the people that were directly around when this situation happened did state, they corroborated DK's story that he was saying some derogatory things towards DK, and it wasn't just saying his name, as he has stated, as the fan has stated multiple times. And that the people around even asked for this guy to be removed. So my thing is, look, I got attacked on, especially on TikTok last week, about me saying that, fans shouldn't speak this way. It was a blanket statement. I was using this story to be like, hey, we have to be better as fans when we're out there enjoying the game. You could say a guy sucks. You could say you're trash. You could say all those things. Once we start saying things, talking about people's families, calling them, racial slurs. I wasn't saying that this guy did it. I'm saying that we as fans, we know it happens. We know it happens. We have to be better. Like, treat other human beings as human beings. Be competitive. Have fun as a fan. Talk your ish. Have that banter. Nothing wrong with that. But once we start getting disrespectful, that's out of line. And, everybody said, he didn't say that, and people around him say that he didn't say. Okay, cool, that's fine. I wasn't the reporter. It was reported, and I repeated what was reported. And so, but now here's another report that maybe we don't know what happened this year, at least not 100%, but we do know that last year they did an investigation. The story that DK had to the security that he reported to had been corroborated by other fans. And those fans allegedly had asked for this guy to be removed as well. And so if this is the case, if all of those things are true, why was this guy even at the game this year? Why was he not just removed, but season tickets should have been removed as well? He should have been banned from the stadium. Again, there's going to be more to come out about this story. It is a he said story. And so we don't have all the facts. But I please would implore you guys as fans of the sport, just fans of the sport, like, take your own personal crap out of it. And we ain't got no time for all of that. No hatred, no none of that. We're not pinning one person against another person just to do it. Let the information come out. Let's make our judgment based on that. And if it comes out that this guy, it was telling the truth, then DK should absolutely apologize. He should not have acted the way he acted in the first place. I said that. He's got to be better than that, because it's a lose-lose situation for him. Even if he was 100% justified in why he did it, it was still a lose-lose situation for him. Like, the optics of it just don't look good. But yes, we didn't know the whole story. And as more facts come out about this story, the fans obviously going to be looking for some type of settlement. Some type of dough, and he'll probably get that. He'll probably get that because of the actual physical assault. But let's let the news come out, and let's make our judgments based on so. So I wasn't jumping off the cliff. I let the news come out for a couple of days, and then I said to you what I said to you last episode. And now that we're here, Jay Glazer reported what he reported. Longtime NFL insider. For those who aren't familiar with him, he's comparable to like an Adam Schefter, but he does the same kind of job for Fox Sports. So I'm like, what is this on? Okay. Let's move on to, we're going to start to get into the playoffs, the NFL playoffs a little bit here. And I got to tell you, I turned on the TV this morning. I'm recording this on a Monday. What's the date today? The 29th. So a couple of days before the new year cracks off. And I'm already hearing the Josh Allen excuses. Josh Allen and the Bills lost to the Eagles in what was an important game, at least for the Bills, at least to try to win that division and possibly get the number one seed. Their loss solidifies the number one seed to New England. And so there's that there. And there were some weird decisions made during this game, whether they should have went for a tie, instead of go for the win. Now, when they went for the win, Josh Allen just missed the throw. The guy was wide open, and he overthrew him. I mean, he was wide open. Wide open like QT. Wide open like Waffle House. He was wide open, and Josh Allen missed him. And it happens. Things happen. I'm not even going to, Josh Allen is still one of the greater quarterbacks of this generation and definitely this year for sure. But I'm already hearing the Josh Allen excuses. Well, he kind of looked hurt out there. He ain't been. Hold on, man. Hold on, because his stat line was really good that game. Running the ball, passing the ball. And they dominated against Philly, especially when you look at the stats. I don't always go to the stats, but when you look at the stats, they were way better. Philly played terribly offensively in the second half. Terrible. 17 total yards of offense in the second half. Philly played terrible. But they won, because that's what they do. They win these weird games where Jalen Hurts doesn't throw that much. They don't really move the ball offensively, but their defense just locks it in. But I don't want to hear the Josh Allen excuses already. Don't start giving me that before we even get into the playoffs. I'm not saying there's not better teams than the Bills. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying they can't be beat, because they obviously can. But what I'm saying is, if the narrative for the past 4 to 5 years has been, man, Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes. Man, look at all those great quarterbacks that Allen has to go against. I mean, he continuously beat Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, and that's a whole nother conversation that we'll get into. But his arch nemesis was Patrick Mahomes. He's not in the playoffs. And yes, there are a bunch of great quarterbacks, really good ones, especially in the AFC. But they're young, they're inexperienced. Outside of Aaron Rodgers, who we don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs. We'll get into that. I don't want to hear the excuses for Josh Allen out the gate. We're not even in the playoffs yet. And y'all sitting here, man, he was hurt, man. I heard, Greeny on ESPN. I don't even know why. I don't even know why half the time I watch some of these dudes. Because Greeny be caping up for Josh Allen. Caping up. He was like, did you guys think he was hurt, man? He looked kind of hurt. He didn't look 100%. And he was like, oh, hold on, man. No, we're not doing that. We are not doing that. So, look, they should have won the game. I think it was an uphill battle to try to get the number 1 seed, especially after New England whooped the dog out of the Jets. And the Jets are a conversation for another day. We're not talking about them. But I think, they made a business decision. Let's get up out of here. We win or we lose, and we'll figure it out. We're already in the playoffs. We clinched the playoff spot. There's a long road if we think we're going to make it to the championship. And so I think the Bills will be fine. I think Josh Allen will be fine, especially if they continue to get the ball to Cook. If they continue to make James Cook a huge part of that offense the way they have been doing over the last 6 weeks, I think they'll be fine. But I don't want to hear excuses for Josh Allen. Again, unless they play Matt Stafford. And I know that quarterbacks don't play each other, but that is the only dude he can lose to in these playoffs. That's it. Nobody else. I don't want to hear about nobody else. So, all right. We talked about DK Metcalf. We talked about the Steelers. And I'm going to wrap all this up into one big old present, even though Christmas is over. But it's out the gate early, man. I got to ask the question in this weekly installment of
What the fuck are we doing?
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 what the fuck are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? Steelers and Panthers. Y'all had one job. One job. Yeah, one job. Win. Win. Just win. Now, the Ravens, excuse me, played a fantastic game, and we'll talk about them in just a second. But the Steelers, like, this division was handed to you on the most silverest, not even a gold platter. Baltimore went 1-5 to start the season. Joe Burrow was out. The Browns are dysfunctional. And here you go into the second to last week, have a chance to win and win the division. But no, we can't do that. Now, I don't know if this is part of the NFL script, because I'll tell you what, next week was looking kind of sad, because everything was pretty much going to be sold up. All we were worrying about was like position at that point. So maybe they were like, hey, man, we got to make sure that we have some type of like extreme matchup on each side of the AFC and the NFC. And so that way, you know, somebody's got to be fighting to get in. Who knows? You know, they be talking about the NFL script. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's false. I'm just saying this looks a little fishy. But the Steelers and the Panthers had one job. And the Panthers, man, they played the Seahawks, who did not, like, Darnold did not look good in this game. You know, I applauded Darnold for doing the job that he did against the Rams, coming back to win that game after playing horrible for most of that game. But, like, Darnold didn't play well, but Bryce Young was like, yeah, you know what? You think you suck? Watch this. Pause. He is so up and down. Bryce Young is so up and down. I don't know what they're going to do as far as contract going forward, because obviously they're good enough to at least fight for the playoff spot. Tampa Bay lost. You had the opportunity. Panthers had the opportunity 3 weeks in a row. Obviously, they beat Tampa Bay last week, but the week before that, Tampa Bay lost. You knew that going into Sunday. All you had to do was beat the Saints. Couldn't do that. Made it harder on yourselves. Then you played the Bucs. You beat them, and then now the Seahawks are a really good team. I'm not saying they should have won that game, but it should have been more competitive with the way that the Steelers' offense looks, especially Darnold. Now that Seattle defense is lights out. It's up there. It's definitely up there. But man, you had one job. Now you got to go play the Bucs last week of the season for the division. And then there's some weird math where, and I'm not going to really get into this because this team plays tonight, which is Atlanta versus the Rams. So by the time this gets out to you guys, whenever you see this, that game will probably be over. But if Atlanta wins the next two games and then Tampa beats the Panthers, Atlanta like still has a mathematical shot from what I saw, which is wild. Panthers had one job. Now let's get back to the Steelers. Steelers, you had one job. And this is why I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if they get in or not. If they do get in the playoffs, they're one and done. They're losing it to any one of those wild card teams. I mean, maybe they get lucky and get the Chargers, and then the Chargers do what the Chargers do. Or they might get the Chargers, and Jim Harbaugh turns, he does Jim Harbaugh things and wins in that situation. I don't know. Like I've said in the past, we can't trust the Chargers. But we damn sure can't trust the Steelers. You had one job. And here's why that's an issue. Because now with Lamar Jackson out, Snoop Huntley was in, this offense, they actually run the offense correctly. For whatever reason, when Lamar is out. So Steelers, you're going to mess around and lose, to be honest with you. Because Snoop Huntley, 1, 2, 3, into the fold, Snoop Huntley is knocking at your door. Now, I didn't have this written down, but I do want to talk about this. I don't know what the Ravens are doing. Maybe they're a part of what the fuck are we doing too. Let's add them into it. What the fuck are we doing, Ravens? Now, they won incredible. Like Derrick Henry did Derrick Henry shit. It wasn't a soul alive that was going to stop this man this past weekend. Not a soul. I don't care if Lawrence Taylor in his prime came back. Nobody was stopping Derrick Henry this past game. And when he runs like this, you can't. You cannot stop this man when he's on this type of roll. But obviously, all this news that's been coming out, if you guys haven't heard about Lamar Jackson and how he's been, not going to meetings or not paying attention or falling asleep in meetings, hasn't been locked in. And I'm like, that's weird. That's hella weird. Because I remember once upon a time, stay with me, I remember once upon a time during this season when it was reported that the Ravens took all the games out of the rec room. This was at the point where, they were losing 1-5. Took all the games out the rec room. They wanted to get locked in. And they went to John Harbaugh and they said, whose decision was that? I had nothing to do with it. Actually, it was Lamar Jackson. And then they asked Lamar, it's like, yeah, I had to do what I had to do, man, because we lose it. We got to be focused, man. So if Lamar Jackson was the one who made the decision as a captain, as a leader of this team, to remove distractions in the middle of the season, that definitely did something because they started winning. Now, a large part of that was our boy, Snoop. Like I don't know why they needed to wait to go to Snoop. But he essentially runs the same offense. And he's a stronger dude than Lamar. But you can't tell me that Lamar Jackson was this way and then all of a sudden they're fighting to get in the playoffs. And now all of a sudden he's not locked in. Let's be real. Lamar Jackson's been hurt all year and y'all been bullshitting with the injury report. And he's probably been fighting to get back really 100%. And every time you guys are being competitive, you guys throw him back in there doing the damn RG3 thing. And he just hasn't been 100%. He has not looked 100% all year. All year. in the last few years, he's been injury prone. Like, let's be honest. But I think they rushed to get him back a couple times this year, and he hasn't been 100%. And so just say that. Say we squandered it. We wanted him back early. We were fighting for a chance for the playoffs. We still are. And we wanted to ride into the streets with our best dude. But don't tell me, I don't want to hear. And you know this shit comes from inside the organization. Hey, yo, man, tell that reporter over there that Lamar been falling asleep. He don't be paying attention. The same dude that took the video games out, that dude, Lamar Jackson, the one that the coach said. And this is why John Harbaugh has to go. Has to go. Lamar Jackson saved this man's job already. Now all of a sudden, your job is on the line again. The questions of should you be there, should you not be there, are really starting to get loud. And you're like, hey, Ward, man, why are you saying this after they had this big win? Because this is exactly this actually proves the point more than anything. How come you haven't been running this offense like this all year? Why is it when Lamar Jackson gets in, all of a sudden you forget how to run the offense, especially with that dude back there, Derrick Henry? It's more of an indictment on what they do. And they do it every year. They run, get into the playoffs, throw 400 times. Lamar Jackson comes back, throw 40, 50 times. Derrick Henry might get 15 to 20 touches. What the fuck are we doing? So I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying I'm going to reserve judgment about whether Lamar Jackson is actually doing these things, being that I don't really trust the source that it's coming from. Whoever tried to, slip that information out there, because they know they're going to, contracts, and let's figure out how we can take some money away. He's falling asleep. The same dude who took the damn video games out of the rec room, he's falling asleep and playing video games, and get the fuck out of here. So that is the weekly part of Yo No Say Nada. That was
What the fuck are we doing?
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 What the fuck are we doing? All right. Let's see here. I want to, as the playoffs are pretty much set outside of two teams, one team on each in each conference. I want to give my top 5 with a little bit of a caveat. Top 6, but it's really top 5. Top 5, but it's really top 6. Scariest playoff teams. These are not the best teams. These are not this is not who I think is going to win. So before you guys get at me in the comment section, what about this team? What about this team? I'm a fan of football. I look at the teams objectively. I look at every team objectively. I'm a fan of certain players and stuff like that, of course. But I'm looking at every team objectively from what I've seen this season. And these are my top 5 in no particular order. The way I wrote it down was I went through the NFC first and the AFC second. So that's kind of how the order is right now. But in no particular order, the top 5 scariest playoff teams as it is right now. First and foremost, I have the 49ers. They actually might be my number 1 scariest team. They have been injured all year. All year. They still don't have Fred Warner back. Still don't have, he might be back for the playoffs, but we're not sure yet. I mean, he's been doing more podcasting than anything. And that's no disrespect. He's been hurt. They're barely starting to get some of their guys back on defense. They didn't have Brock Purdy for half the year. There was questions about whether they should start Mac Jones over Brock Purdy, which I think Brock Purdy has silenced that, at least for right now. They are the scariest team in the play. There is not a team. Well, you said Josh Allen better beating it. Yeah, forget all that. I'm just saying the top scariest 49ers are the scariest team entering the playoffs. Because how do you get through all these injuries? How do you get through the NFC West with all these injuries? And not only are you competitive, you right there at the top right now. After beating the Bears. Like, there's not a team in the NFC that wants to play the 49ers. Robert Saleh, Shanahan have done an amazing job. And Robert Saleh, if he wants, will get a head coaching job next year. It's if he wants. Now, I don't know if he wants to take over a shit team like he did. I don't think he wants to go through that again, what he went through with the Jets. I think he'll look at the landscape, and I think he's one of those coaches that he can pick where he wants to go. He'd be like, yeah, I'm good, man. I'll stay another year in San Fran. It's nice out here. 49ers. Now the Bears are my second team, especially out of the NFC. And I know they have a better record. I know they've won their division. But I don't know if you guys have been watching the last couple weeks how Caleb Williams looks. He is making 4 to 5 throws a game that are like, yo, whoa. And I get, the slow starts don't really help. But, man, a lot of the teams that are in the playoffs right now have been one-half teams, whether it's the first half or the second half, or they have really bad quarters on either side of the half. I can go down the line, and I'm saying some of the top teams are that way. But this is Caleb Williams' second year. Now, the Bears defense, a lot of people say bend but don't break. Their break and take is pretty much what it is. You're going to score on the Bears. And that's what scares you, but they will get turnovers. They will get the ball back to the offense. Monungai and Swift are getting better every single game, and so is Caleb Williams. He's not getting sacked as much as he did last year. I think they said that was his 4th game without a sack this year, which had not happened last year. The way he's scrambling is much better, getting upfield, not holding on to the ball as long. 3 to 5 second counts every time. I mean, just 1, 2, 3, get my read, dump it off. And then he's making 4 or 5 throws a game that you're just like, oh my goodness. And I'm a Caleb Williams fan. He played for USC. I'm a little biased here. I'll be honest with you. But nobody expected the Bears to be in this position, and they are scary. Now the Eagles, and the Eagles are scary for this reason. They're the number 3 team that I have on my list as the top 5, 6 scariest teams. The Eagles are scary for one reason and one reason only. They've been there. They just came from that. They just left that restaurant. And they've been there twice recently and just won. Every year there's some narrative. Nick Sirianni, get him the fuck out of here. Man, A.J. Brown don't like nobody. Man, him and Jalen Hurts, they got beef. Saquon Barkley ain't getting the ball. Every year there's some type of narrative throughout the season, and yet they still are just in the playoffs. And still like in contention. And they don't have to look pretty on the stat sheet to win. Matter of fact, half the time you look at the stat sheet like, how in the hell were they even close? Last game against the Bills, they should have been mopped. 17 yards in the second half, they just find ways to win. And when you've been there, that makes you scary because there's something that happens during the regular season when you're like one of those perennial playoff teams, is you kind of just want to get to the playoffs. This happens in most sports. You know, you see it in basketball. You've seen it, you know, in the past years with when LeBron was in Cleveland, Miami, Golden State, Boston Celtics the last few years. Like they just kind of like, let's just be good enough. Nuggets. And you see it in football. Where it's like, man, New England used to do it. Now, New England just used to dominate that division. But you've seen it with the Chiefs recently. Like, let's just get to the playoffs, and we'll figure it out from there. So the Eagles are my number 3 scariest team, especially in the NFC. My number 4 team out of the AFC is the Texans. I've been talking about them all year. I've had a love-hate relationship with the Texans, and the only thing I've hated was that offensive line. But that defense. Yeah, A-Ward, we heard you say it before. I know. So do you really have to say it again? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. That defense, them monsters they got down in Houston. Swish a house. UGK. I'm telling you, the Texans are, to me, the scariest team in the AFC because of that defense. Now, if they can scheme their run game, how they've been able to do a couple times this year, maybe like 3 to 4 times, and get Woody Marks involved, and CJ Stroud can just like get on a little run. He's been hurt, obviously, and I think he's still kind of getting back into like football shape. But if CJ Stroud could be anywhere near like rookie CJ Stroud, and this defense looks the way it does, man, oh man, there's not a team in the AFC that will want to play them. Not one. Not right now. My next AFC team that I have as the top 5, maybe 6 scariest teams in the playoffs as it stands right now is Denver. What? Denver has the number? I know they have the record. I know they're a damn good team. And it was hard for me to pick a couple teams out of the AFC because I'm like, you know what I mean? Who do you run to in this empty space? Who do you run to? I had no idea who to run to because I was like, the Bills, man. New England's scary. Don't get me wrong. But Denver's scary for the reason that they've been scary all year. Like, just get us to the fourth quarter, dog. Just get us to the fourth quarter, dog. And Sean Payton's like, hey, man, Bo Nix, you remember, like, you're kind of decent at quarterback, right? You can actually just go out there and play. And Bo Nix like, oh, that's right. No, I'm in the NFL. You're right, I am in the NFL, Sean Payton. Yeah, what's the score? Are we down by 10? Don't worry about it. And that's why Denver's scary. That is why they're scary. So I know they have the record. I know they have the number 1 seed. I know they have all that. But they're still scary to me. And then where they play. Right? Like, you having to go up there in that high elevation, them having that home field advantage, man. You go up there, man, you can't breathe. It's not just cold. It's that high elevation. I didn't say breathe. I said breathe. You go up there, you're going to need some bereavement. You know what I mean? Now, I said 5. That was my 5. 49ers, Bears, Eagles, Texans, Denver. Those are my 5 scariest teams. And I said, well, it might be 6. Here's why. Because this team is not in. And it's funny because I just talked about this team. It is the Ravens. Wait, I thought you said John Harbaugh need to be fired. It's not because of him. It's because if they, and this is a huge if they run this offense the way it should be run with Snoop Huntley in there, I would sit Lamar. I know that sounds crazy. He is not 100%. Even if he feels like 80%, and I get it, like he is one of the better quarterbacks in this league, you know, MVPs, all that. But he is not, he needs to be, he's like Joe Burrow. He needs at least to get back to 100%. And Snoop Huntley is good. He's good. And what they do is they run the ball when Lamar's not in there. So if they get into the playoffs, and this is if they get in, and this is another if they decide to run, if they decide to give it to Derrick Henry, and I know he's had turnover issues this year that he hasn't had in the past, I think he'll be fine. But if they get in and they're like, hey, man, Derrick Henry, just run us to the Super Bowl, that team is absolutely scary to me because of that. Because of that. Because they run their offense the way it needs to be run for whatever weird reason when Lamar Jackson's not in there. So, top 5 and 6 scariest playoff teams. I got the 49ers, the Bears, the Eagles, the Texans, the Broncos, and the Ravens if they get in. Still think John Harbaugh, at least they need to visit firing him. Really light show today for you guys. No turn the TV off. Know what you heard. I just wanted to say hi, what's up before the new year. And I'll have a little bit longer show next episode. I'm going to have some awards that we're going to do, some fun stuff. If you guys have TikTok, run over to my TikTok. I actually have some questions on there, and you guys can vote for, at least let me know who you think should, get some of these awards in the sports categories. They're all on my TikTok page. You guys can run through my posts and just leave the names of like who you want, who you think, and you can be as biased as you want to be. So I'm taking the people's consideration for who. It's not just going to be me. It's going to be kind of like I'll look at what you guys have to say, look at what I've seen over this season, and have fun, man. And we'll give out some awards to, some Yo No Say Nada awards because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about anyways. So, yeah, let's get you guys out of here. Let me give you my narrative. All right, my narrative for this week is obviously, what's afloat. The resolutions. The New Year's resolutions are afloat. And, people are already planning them. People probably already have them. I don't know if you have any. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. And you and you and you. I don't know if you guys have any resolutions. But what I would say is it's less about a total resolution and it's more just about every day having resolutions. So my resolution is really to have everyday resolutions, right? I want to get better at something every single day. That is what I'm telling myself. I want, first of all, I'll put this out in the ethos to the people. I want to lose weight. A lot of people that know me know I was an athlete, still an athlete. You know what I'm saying? Don't let the size fool you. I still got that speed. Trust. But I want to get back to a weight that is comfortable for me. I have lost a lot in the last 6 to 8 months. So I was a big dude. I'm still a big dude, but I was a big dude. And so that is one of my resolutions. Now, how can I get to that? By trying to work at things every single day, make better decisions, every single day. I'm not perfect, but that's one of my resolutions. The second one is I want to take this podcast as far as we can take it. I want to get to a podcast network. I want to get on. I'm putting it out there. I want to get, on the volume or on the wave. I would love to be on the wave with Bomani. Putting it out in the streets, man. Putting it out in the streets. Got some really cool things coming up with my friends down in Texas. Stirring the pot that we're working on, that we're having discussions on. So there's going to be some fun combination podcast stuff that we're doing. If you guys don't know who Stirring the Pot is, go check them out. But I would just say to you, every day try to have take care of the mini goals. Like this, and this. Like here, okay, I have this goal. How do I obtain that? And we have to create the mini goals. If you have to write them down, put them in your phone. Have reminders. Let certain people know that can hold you accountable. And hopefully you get closer to whatever it is that you're trying to get better at in 2026. There are going to be things that are going to get in your damn way. And if they do, man, come holler at me, man. Leave a comment down below on one of the videos. Hey, man, here's my resolution. Here's what I tried to do, but this happened. I just need to get it off my chest real quick. I need to let you know, hey, Ward, yeah, I got you, man. Let me tell you about the shit that happened to me. Man, I'm trying to lose weight, man, but I went crazy this past weekend, man. Damn. Food was good. I don't know what to tell you. Be like that. And we'll support each other. But take care of the mini goals every single day. Get better every single day. And let's do this shit together, man. Let's do it together. Your goals are my goals are your goals, and we're all going to take care of each other in 2026. We're going to make sure that we all get better. 1,000%. So, I thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the A Ward Show. I really, really love y'all and appreciate y'all. Make sure you hit that link tree. Make sure you follow me on all my socials. Make sure you follow my partners of the show on all their socials in the descriptions below. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. If you cannot watch the video, pull up on all your favorite audio podcast sharing platforms, Spotify, Apple, iHeart. I am on all those, plus many more. If I'm not, let me know. I'm pulling up. You guys have a fantastic week. Have a super, super happy new year. Super happy new year. Be safe. Make sure you go out, you get home safely. And tell your friends to tell their friends to tell their cousins, their grandmama, their mama, and them to pull up on the A Ward Show. And I'll see you, turkeys, next year.